My name is Robin, and I've been a little sister with Big Brothers Big Sisters for about 3 years now. I'm going into my last year of high school, and that's really scary, but I'm also excited. I really like writing. I just like anything that I feel like I've created, like worlds that I've created. I have this one character, her name's Cherry. I think I made her when I was like 13, and so she's trying to be a detective, but she has really bad OCD. Like, she can't touch anything, like she has contamination OCD, which is kind of the worst thing to have if you're like trying to figure out a crime scene. So she's trying to figure that all out, but like with her own issues kind of get in the way, and it's her like overcoming that. I live with my grandmother. She's kind of taken on a parental role for me.
Robin had lived part-time with her mom, part-time with her dad, and her mom had gotten ill.
She's chronically ill, and wasn't able to work, wasn't able to financially support herself, so I couldn't live with her. My relationship with my dad wasn't good. Like, he didn't know where to put his anger, and so usually put it on me, and we would get in these really big arguments. You know, spilling a cup of milk on the floor would end in a screaming match about how I can't do anything right. And then school, couldn't do anything right, didn't have any friends. So it was kind of like everywhere I would be, I was in the wrong place. People always referred to me as like an acquired taste. That was always something people said to me.
With the trauma of her mom being very ill and having struggles with her dad, things started to unravel.
I think it was summer 2018. I went to summer camp. I think that was the first time that I really realized I was different than everyone else. Everybody else is having a good time, and there's something wrong about me. When I got home that week, I had this feeling where I was like, I'm 11 years old, I have no friends. My parents don't like me. You know, I'm failing school, I'm just a mess up. I was like, I don't think it's ever gonna get better. Like, I don't wanna be alive anymore. And I went and I just took a bottle of Tylenol. Like, I just took a handful of Tylenol. I remember afterwards, I was like, holy cow, what did I just do? Way earlier, with one of my only friend that I met at summer camp, like, I texted her like a goodbye message, and she said that she was gonna call the police. She was gonna call an ambulance, and she did.
Robin was in at least 10 different mental health facilities during a 5-year period. Hospitalized or taken to the ER 13, 14, maybe more, I don't recall, from self-harm and suicide attempts.
During that transition period of 11 to 13, a lot of the emotions that I wasn't allowed to have where I was living before kind of all came out. You've never struggled with self-harm. It's really hard to like psychologically understand. You build up a tolerance, kind of the same as it would be with drug use. You have to just keep getting more intense and more intense. And when I finally stopped cutting, it was at the point where any time that I hurt myself, I would need stitches.
When I reached out to Big Brothers Big Sisters on Robin's behalf, I explained everything that was going on and all of the trauma and the chaos. They said, absolutely, we will find her a match.
My name's Hannah, and I've been a big sister in Big Brothers Big Sisters for 2 years. I first learned of Big Brothers Big Sisters when I was in college and was looking for an internship. It was really important to me to work with an organization that was mission-driven. Part of my role at Big Brothers Big Sisters was interviewing the kids and families, as well as interviewing the volunteers. And I was actually the one who interviewed Robin, and I remember meeting her, and she was 14 or 15 at the time, so full of life, And so we ended up looking for a match for Robin for about 2 years. We made a few matches during that time, but she was maybe getting residential treatment somewhere else or out of state. Then about 2 years later, it was finally a good time for me in my life to become a big sister. We found out that Robin was going to be home. She was doing better, and it just worked out. We went and told the family, saw what they thought about it, and that's when we moved forward with the match.
In the beginning, I was not as open with Hannah. I kind of kept my mask on of happy-go-lucky, everything's fine.
It felt like she was just a friend that I got to spend time with, and also knew there was a lot she was struggling with too.
After a few months of Hannah being my match, I had another suicide attempt.
And it was, of course, really devastating for me to hear, to know she felt like she didn't want to be on the earth anymore. After she got out of the hospital, she was really honest that she was still feeling so down, so depressed, and just like you could kind of see her light was really, really dimmed.
When we would hang out, Hannah would say, hope you're doing okay. I kind of heard about what happened, so just know, I'm here for you.
At that point, my goal was really to meet her where she was at.
And that was such a blessing, because I hated that I would leave therapy and I would still feel like I'm in a therapeutic environment.
Tried to check in and follow her lead with what she wanted to talk about, what she was comfortable with.
Or I'd say I relapse. I would tell her stuff like that. And there are some things I told her that I didn't tell anyone else, because I just trusted her, and I trust her.
Robin, right after she turned 16, she went into a treatment center that I found for her in Utah.
I was really excited when Robin mentioned the program because I did see hope in her eyes. And it was maybe different than some of these attempts that she's made in the past.
It was a residential therapeutic boarding school. She stayed there a year.
When Robin was first going away, she did let me know that it could be challenging to communicate. There could be restrictions on calls that we were able to do or texts, but we did know that one way that we could communicate was through letters.
She had beautiful calligraphy, and she would draw little pictures. I remember I always felt special because the other kids there didn't get little cards like that.
We didn't need to give up. We didn't need to give up on our match, but we could continue to, I could continue to show support and care for her from afar.
Also knowing she wasn't obligated to do that. And, I'd write her letters back, and, she wouldn't get penalized for just not responding.
I remember getting a letter where she shared about that she's learned all these different coping skills and she's graduated onto this next level, so she's getting a lot more independence now, and she might be able to get to come home soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
She would get short visits back in Austin every few months, and we'd always try and see each other during those times.
And I was like, keep it. Get yourself some. And I felt like it was always nice with her because Hannah never made me feel like I had to tell her things. So when I would tell her things, it gave me a sense of control.
Wherever we are, we're usually just talking, whether we're driving in the car, we're going to get ice cream, we're going for a walk. It's really all about the connection that we're having over what we're doing.
I would just talk and talk and talk, and she would listen. But she would really listen. She wouldn't just hear me.
She's definitely the talker, and I'm definitely the listener, and I love that because that's how I naturally like to be.
I remember having that feeling of, she didn't even get a chance to acquire to my taste. She just liked me. She just thought I was fun to be around. And I helped change that narrative for me. And she really showed me that there were good parts about myself. There were positive things about myself, and having her repeat that so often really kind of engraved that in my head. Oh, you're so funny. You're so smart. You're so kind. You're such a good listener. Those things And our relationship really helped change the way I see myself in a positive way. I just always remember leaving our hangouts feeling better than I was feeling before. And that was fun.
We're at this point now where she has so much more freedom than she has in 6 years. You know, enjoying her friends, going out, doing ordinary things that she's never been able to do before.
Since Robin came back, you can definitely see a huge difference in her. She has just recently hit her 1-year anniversary of being self-harm free and being sober, and she has hope. She has hope for a future, and she has goals that she is looking forward to.
After high school, I want to be a nurse. I want to make people feel important and like their problems matter. I want to be the one where people can feel like they can be truly vulnerable with me, and I'll listen.
Knowing all that she had been through for all of these years of her life, that she finally was on a trajectory where she could be healthy and happy and that there was hope, meant so much to me.
I'm very happy with my life right now, and I have never been able to say that. And she was one of the first people I could say that to, you know, like, Hannah, like, I'm happy with my life right now, you know? Because I only started making friends pretty recently. You know, having her be kind of like a day one for me is really cool. And when I'm explaining her to people, I don't say like, oh, I'm hanging out with my mentor or my big sister from the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization. I just say my friend. You know, I'm just hanging out with my friend Hannah today. And that was cool.